Please don't try what you're about to see at home.
Well, there's your problem.
In this special series of Mythbusters,
It's almost too exciting.
the Dream Team tackles their dream themes.
It's scientific!
Testing myths about everything from electricity to pressure and gravity.
This one hurt a bit.
Shaking down the science of shockwaves, velocity, and ballistics. With crazy chemistry,
Oh my goodness.
far-out physics,
Fun for the whole family.
and insane explosions.
Is everybody okay?
Life's burning questions answered. On Mythbusters, there's your problem. On this episode, it's grown-ups gone wild with 3 myths that are anything but child's play.
3, 2, 1.
Oh darn, the seesaw broke. It just kind of like folded in half.
And later, the adrenaline's rising as the team feels the need
That car didn't skip, it flipped!
for speed.
You got me.
To source our first myth, Adam and Jamie are going into the ungoverned wilderness of the internet.
This is a YouTube clip. A man is seen sliding down a water slide, launching himself off a ramp, flying a seemingly impossible length through the air and landing in a little tiny swimming pool.
And so you want us to test this?
Oh, I want to test this.
Is it actually feasible to fly that far and land in a tiny paddle pool? Or are the video makers pulling a fast one? They're going to build a similar slide with one crucial difference. Instead of land surrounding the paddle pool, they'll set up the slide next to a lake. Using the video, Adam's done the math and figured out they need a 200-foot ramp on a slope of 24 degrees. But there's some work to be done first.
Behind me, in sheer size and tonnage, is the biggest build we have ever undertaken.
With the Earth finally in place, the guys get to work on their ramp slide hybrid. 52 sheets of plywood are slid down.
It looks great.
You first.
They add straw barriers to stop them going off-piste. And cushion it with a roll of carpet that needs to be taped down.
Oh.
Can I get another roll of duct tape?
Well, the duct tape survived. So with lacquered vinyl applied,
Come on, all the way, buddy. There we go, okay.
it's time for a cautionary dry run.
I'm not only having fun, I'm finding if there's any spots that are sticking up that could hurt us.
Our slide is 165 feet long. As we go down it, we'll be going at a 24-degree angle. As we come off the end of it, we're going to be going at a 30-degree angle. How far we go and how fast we travel, that's what we're here to find out.
Jamie's sorted out the lube,
Pull, play.
and Adam's suited up. Tempting as it is to go from the top, Adam's playing it safe, and for the first try, is going to set off from halfway.
I'm dying to try this out. Here we go, test number 1.
Adam Danger Savage empties his bucket and adopts the downhill luge position of the video.
I'm okay. Up very far.
Ironically, by not going from high enough up the slide, Adam nearly came to serious harm.
You barely made it off the end of the ramp.
I don't know what happened.
And for take 2, he'll need a little more slide. So he heads to 3/4 of the way up. The landing may have been a little hard on his derriere, but at least Adam got air.
Coach, I'm ready to go in for another run. Will you send me in?
This time, Adam's going to the top. For the myth to be confirmed, they need him to fly around 115 feet like the guy in the video. And they also need to hit the same spot repeatedly.
Okay, I'm ready to go from the top.
It should be all downhill from here.
Yeah, we'll break a leg.
Here we go.
3, 2, 1. Oh, it doesn't take much. Here we go. Whoa!
Yeah! Wow!
Well, that was one mighty splash. But Adam only flew 70 feet, a far cry from the 115 feet of the myth.
That's totally intense. That was, above and beyond everything else, the single most intense thing I've ever done on the show.
But Jamie's not getting left out of the fun.
You don't think I'm gonna pass something like this up, do you? I mean, look at it. And besides, who knows, I might go further.
From the top, 3, 2, 1.
Oh! He's okay.
After a pretty ungainly landing, Jamie only beats Adam's distance by 2 feet. That means the distance achieved on the slide in the video is busted. But that's only half the myth.
But now that leads to the natural question of accuracy. If we did this on dry land, could we place the pool somewhere where we'd hit it every time and survive?
In one run and a second, Adam surprisingly strikes almost the same spot.
So those runs were great. They were both within a couple feet of each other.
Really?
Yeah.
Time for a makeshift paddle pool target.
Okay, so from everything we've done so far, we've calculated that we're hitting a spot that's pretty much in the center of that circle behind me. But here's how I want you to think about this. Picture that that is dry land, and the only salvation you have at the end of that dry land is that circle, which is full of life-saving water somewhere in the middle of the dry land, and you are going to trust your life to hitting that target? I would not. Dude, I wish you could see it from here. From here, the ring looks like the size of a quarter.
Well, then you shouldn't have any trouble hitting it.
Okay.
It all comes down to this one. One souped-up super slider and one floating ring of rubber. Will Adam be accurate enough to ring in this myth?
And 3, 2, 1.
That was a perfect splash landing.
Dude, I didn't even break it!
Adam's final run propelled him 70 feet and then directly into the center of the pseudo-kiddie pool. But where does that leave the myth?
Well, as far as the distance goes, it's busted because we'd have to have a slide at least twice as long as this to get that 115 feet. But accuracy?
Plausibility of the accuracy is the thing I find most astounding in this. When we started testing this, I would have never called that we'd be reliably hitting that dot time and again, that you could somehow set this up on dry land and actually hit the target.
Well, for the myth to be true, both halves have to be true, and they're not, so it's busted.
Our next myth has danger written all over it.
The claim is that if you get up enough speed, you can actually swing all the way around a swing set, make a complete revolution without falling out.
Sounds like a good way to break your neck.
Grown-ups attempting a dangerous stunt using equipment designed for kids. I can see where this is going.
Warning, this swing was designed for use by children only, not for adult use.
But a little padding should make it safe, right? With a few more pads added and a high-speed camera to capture the stunt, Carrie's ready for a first attempt at the 360 loop.
Okay, test number 1, me under my own strength. Watch out. Okay, I'm getting to the point where the chain's starting to get loose when I get to the top. So I'm thinking I'm at my maximum.
Carrie's way off a 360, but still gets some impressive height.
Whoa!
You went total
Whoa!
You went
I'm
over
a monkey.
horizontal.
Your swing technique is excellent.
Ready.
Test number 2, Tori underneath his own strength.
All right, ready?
Can Safety Officer Tori launch the child swing any further around?
All
To
right.
infinity and the ground.
I'm okay.
Are you okay, dude?
Oh, I'm so glad we had the mats.
As further proof you should never try this, here's another look at Tori's epic fail. Time for Plan B. A 65-pound crash test dummy. Add some serious muscle.
You made it. Dude, we need a little help.
Tori's biker buddies are going to help try to swing the dummy all the way round.
Cool. All right, you guys ready? 1, 2. Here we go.
They've got the mini swinger over the bar. This myth is still alive and kicking.
That's all we needed. Just a little muscle.
But it turns out that moments after she goes over the bar, the dummy falls out of the sky. So it's not a proper 360. Time to get a little creative.
We know this myth is busted. You can't, under your own power, do a 360. But as Mythbusters, we kind of want to see what it takes to actually do it.
They're going down to small scale and adding some mini boosters to a doll called Simulate Susie.
We came up with sort of a Wile E. Coyote solution to this 360 problem. We're just going to strap a few rockets to little Simulate Susie and just watch her go around the swing set.
In 3, 2, 1, firing.
Where's her hand, dude?
Busted off.
Blew her hand off?
She's tough.
The horizontal rocket sends Susie off into a cataclysmic spin and blows off her hand. They decide to reposition the rocket at 40 degrees.
We're armed and launching in 3, 2, 1.
Fire.
Yes!
Yeah.
Yes!
Beautiful.
Perfect!
That was great.
40 degrees was spot on. Susie goes 360 and beyond. So the next stage is to replicate this result on the full-size swing by strapping on some mammoth missiles.
Something a little scary about this image.
Oh, come on. It's perfect family entertainment.
Definitely don't do this at home.
The dummy is wired to the swing and fitted with 2 rockets, one each side.
Going in 3, 2, 1.
Okay, stay put.
That did not go according to plan. So what went wrong? The high speed shows that one side fired off just before the other. It's a fraction of a second, but it's enough to throw Susie into a crazy twist. Time to simplify. They now attach the single biggest rocket dead center. But because they're worried about Susie's weight, they opt for a launch angle of 60 degrees instead of 40.
3, 2, 1.
Another failure to launch. But it's not all bad news.
That even though the rocket fired its full ignition, she didn't spin, she just stayed in one direction, which is ideal. That means all we need to do is probably drop the angle a bit and she'll go forward instead of being just pushed down.
They drop the angle to 40 degrees. Now everything matches the successful scale test. While the fire marshals stand by, Jamie does a final head count.
3, 4.
With the light fading, it's now or never for this myth.
Okay, we're good.
Jamie gives her one final push.
And 3, 2, 1.
And she's over. At last, using the results of the scale model tests, their girl finally goes the distance.
That's a full wrap on the chain.
And they have video proof that amidst the smoke, she really did go up and over the bar. And her chains? Well, the high speed shows that they were straight the whole way round. A perfect demonstration of a swing set 360, even if it was cheated with rocket power.
So in the final analysis team, what is the final verdict? The myth that you can do a full 360 on a swing set, busted, plausible, or confirmed?
Totally busted.
Not possible, busted.
Busted, but the rockets were spectacular.
To understand our final myth, you'll need to concentrate. And not just because Adam's bunged on his British accent.
I'm a skydiver, right? And I'm falling through the air, and my parachute has utterly failed. Looking desperately down at the ground for something to break my fall, I spy a children's playground and a seesaw with a little girl at the other end. Not worrying about her, I aim for this end of the seesaw, go straight upright. At the last second, I hit the seesaw and catapult that poor little girl up to the top of a 7-story building where amazingly she lands safely.
Wow.
So, if a skydiver with a failed parachute did happen to land on the end of a seesaw, basic physics tells us that the lonely little girl on the other end is going somewhere. But could she really go 7 stories high and live? There's only one way to find out.
All we need is a regulation seesaw.
And a correctly weighted little girl.
And a skydiver.
Terrific.
Adam knocks the seesaw up in record time.
It is, in fact, a seesaw.
I want one of these in my office.
They've also got a crane and a cute little girl crash dummy.
So shall we name her Ariel?
From this height, they can't get a skydiver to fall at terminal velocity of 122 miles per hour. So they'll compensate by adding a lot more weight in water-filled barrels.
I've calculated that filling the barrels with 1,150 pounds of water and then dropping them from 75 feet should exactly match the skydiver's free fall impact force of 85,000 foot-pounds.
Looks good to me.
All right, let's go up. So I'm gonna pull the safety, but you know what? I don't want to be anywhere on this lot when we drop this thing.
I was thinking we should be up over there.
I was thinking the same thing. All right, here we go. Skydiver seesaw in 3, 2, 1.
Oh, darn, the seesaw broke. It just kind of like folded in half.
The bench is buckled, but the full extent of this disaster is best assessed from ground level.
I don't think we've ever done this specific kind of damage.
It not only crushed it right at the pivot point, but it also crushed it right at the end here. So, you know, that's a heck of a lot of force.
A lot more than we considered. We're gonna have to rethink this thing.
When Adam says rethink, he means it. A week later, all 5 Mythbusters get together at Mare Island Shipyard. They've now got a mega-sized crane, a 170-pound skydiver made from a wetsuit filled with guts-like material, a mega bungee cord to fire the skydiver at terminal velocity of 122 miles per hour, an innocent little girl crash dummy.
You're gonna be fine.
And of course, the pièce de résistance, a handcrafted, super-strength seesaw.
3, 2, 1. Ta-da!
Wow! Oh my God, this is better than Christmas.
I've never seen a seesaw like this before. I was expecting a giant piece of steel. This is beautiful. It's elegant. It's gorgeous.
With the girl in position, Grant applies stick-on patches that measure the force of the impact.
If the red one triggers, she's dead. If the green one triggers, she's injured and alive, but she's not walking away.
When Grant presses go, the plan is that the bungee cord will fire the skydiver right at the seesaw, opposite the little girl. Because accuracy is crucial, the skydiver will be guided by wires.
Here we go. In 3, 2, 1.
Did you expect that? It didn't go up. It shot across the dry dock.
Wow.
That was cool. The skydiver hit the seesaw stayed together, and the little girl got launched over 55 feet in the air. That's above the dry dock. See, the skydiver exploded.
One word for this. Splat.
Looks like he landed butt first.
His legs missed the seesaw, but his upper torso hit it. It's probably about 60, 70% of his mass contacted it. And even that amount was enough to catapult her 5 stories up in the air and 70 feet laterally.
Grant checks the shock watches, and the news is grim.
Oh, red shock watch is tripped.
Not surprisingly, the dummy is toast. They want to try again with better aim, but our skydiver is in no shape for another run. Instead, they'll use a weighted inner tube.
Now, it is the same exact weight as the average man, but this time we're hoping that we'll impart all of its energy onto the seesaw and fling the girl the 7 stories that we talked about in the myth.
Here we go! 3, 2, 1!
The skydiver hit 122 miles per hour. And despite the colossal sideways arc, little Ariel flew way higher than anyone dared hope.
She flies about level with our spreader bar, and that's 130 feet.
That's 13 stories, and that was with an angle like this. If we'd got her to go straight up, she would have cleared 200 easy. If you had an impossibly strong seesaw, if you had a parachutist that didn't just go splat when he hit it, you'd be capable of launching a little girl up at least 13 stories in the air.
So, how do we call it? Well, sad to say, it's busted. The team built the best possible rig and almost doubled the 7-story flight. But the sensors proved that, unfortunately, that flight was a one-way ticket. It'll be tough to keep pace with those playground antics. So, time to put the pedal to the metal
50 miles an hour!
and power up 3 myths about speed.
The distance I'll be shooting at Jamie from is 400 yards.
First, Adam and Jamie are going to test the movie myth that driving in reverse could give you an edge in a car chase.
Been trained to drive in a lot of different ways over the years, but backwards isn't one of them, and it involves a lot of different skills, not only driving ability and spatial awareness, but also really proprioception.
Yeah, let's get to driving.
Okay.
Going backwards in a car chase might sound like movie make-believe, but first, let's check how fast a reversing car can go.
We're going to test out these cars, see how fast they go in forward, and compare that to how fast they go in reverse.
All right, commence quarter-mile test in 3, 2, 1, go. Here it comes. 80 miles per hour.
It's a good start for their converted cab. But how fast will the taxi go backwards?
Now, will our car be able to go as fast as they seem to go in the movies? That is just what we're about to find out. All right, Mr. Heineman, in 3, 2, 1, go! 52, 53. 54 miles per hour.
Pretty quick. A car traveling in reverse at that speed could definitely provide a good movie chase. But how easy is it to steer in reverse?
We've got a course that's full of the kind of challenges a Hollywood hero has to face, and we're going to see if we can reverse through it at high speeds without crashing.
All right, first run in 3, 2, 1, go.
Adam's off. And from the outset, he's ignoring the mirrors.
Whoa!
Oh, there goes a cone.
And going with the over-the-shoulder technique. But his cone count is cataclysmic, and his time is terrible.
How did I do?
1 minute, 7 seconds.
It's very hard to gauge how hard you need to hit a turn in reverse because all of your metrics for reaction in terms of how the car moves are way off kilter. It's a far more sensitive device in reverse. But with some expert training, will we be able to bring this myth back from the brink?
Enter expert driver Brian Frazier, and the technique he's going to teach is surprisingly simple.
So I'm going to change my seating position now a little bit. I'm going to prop myself up, loosen my seatbelt, turn yourself as far as you can around, get your body almost in the center of the car. Okay. I'm going to steer the car now with one hand, but this hand will never leave the steering wheel.
You're not going to let the steering wheel shift in your hand to lock.
You're palming the wheel the entire time.
I see. Okay, cool.
And believe it or not, that's apparently all there is to it.
3, 2, 1, go.
By shifting his body to the center of the car.
Wow.
And keeping one hand on the wheel at all times.
Wow, I can't believe how fast you're able to do this.
Brian speeds through the course.
That is amazing. So I'm about to give that a shot. This is going to be cool.
Like Brian, Adam slides to the center to give a viewpoint that's easier to process.
Oh, look at that. Yeah. Okay, so 3, 2, 1.
And like Brian, he then nails the course.
Oh, that's so cool.
In just 20 minutes, he's gone from being pretty average to being pretty great. And it seems to be all down to the central head position, which seems to be letting Adam's brain process the direction to turn much more accurately.
Time for the final test. Can Adam plausibly evade a cop in a car chase going backwards?
I'm here in an abandoned neighborhood in Marina, California, where my crew has set up a course, and I'm just supposed to drive as fast as I can in reverse.
This final farewell is a half mile of twists and turns, but with some movie mayhem thrown in.
We're going to put a little pressure on Adam because I'm going to be in a cop car on his ass the whole way, with the sole exception that when he sees me and takes off, I'm going to be outside my car. So he's going to have just a little bit of a head start.
Adam's goal, like the classic Hollywood hero, is to make it to the finish line before those pesky police.
That is a cop. That's bad.
But with reverse gear his only option, will he escape to freedom?
Here we go. Bye, cop.
The chase is on.
Here we go. Getting the heck out of here.
And by the time Jamie's got going, Adam's already out of sight.
Make a right-hand turn here. Don't let go of that wheel.
By shifting to the central position, he's able to navigate with skill.
Whoa! Flaming car! Dude! Oh, man! Post-apocalypse!
At least when he wants to.
I want those boxes! Come on! Yeah!
But while his steering is supreme,
I don't know where he is. I hope he's not close.
his speed, while fast, is no match for Jamie.
Oh, fruit stand! I'm not gonna miss the fruit stand.
Adam may be down, but he's not out as he reverses back uphill.
Ah! I'm going still!
A strategy that the Heineman then copies. With both drivers now speeding in reverse, it's a case of who's going to blink first.
Oh, yet another in a long line of things that we should just set up for the public and charge money for. That was awesome.
Step out of the car with your hands up.
That was so much fun. Oh my God. That was the best thing ever.
So how you want to call it?
I have to say, I started this story thinking it was going to be handily busted, and I am now thinking that it's actually plausible. It's not unreasonable how much speed and maneuverability you can get going in reverse.
Yeah, I mean, both of us, I think, if we had our choice, would go, you know, front forward.
Yeah.
Because that's going to be your better option. But surprising how good it can be.
Let's call it plausible.
All right.
Next, a myth that requires speed and skipping.
Are you familiar with the Cannonball films?
Yeah,
Sure.
from the 80s, right?
Okay, so it's the third installment that our myth comes from. The beginning of the movie, there's a red Lamborghini that is trying to evade the cops. So what the sports car driver does is he drives off the road and heads straight towards the lake.
He totally floors it, skips across the water, makes it to the other side, and gets away from the cops.
Exactly.
So the myth is, could a 1.2-ton car skim a pond like a skipping stone?
So what's the plan?
I have watched the scene over and over in slow motion. And what I have found that watching frame by frame and measuring points of reference, the car wasn't going very fast, maybe 50 miles an hour. It went off a little launch and skipped about 4 times over a 100-foot body of water.
To stand in for a Lamborghini, we've got this.
What in the heck did she get that for?
So our prop budget couldn't stretch to $250,000. But it's the same size, surface area, and weight. No one's volunteering to drive this on such a dangerous mission, so Grant's going to wire it for remote control.
I got a plan. I got a plan.
Let's skip to the fun part. A small lake in Oregon, with a road leading up to it. They've built a small kicker ramp to get the car airborne, just as they had in the movie.
There's something that doesn't look quite right with this car. It doesn't look fast enough. That's a fast car.
We are ready to find out if this car is gonna skip. Is it gonna work? Probably not.
So for this test, we're doing everything like they did in the movie. We're going 50 miles an hour, we're taking it off a little jump, and we're gonna hopefully skip it across water.
It's sink or swim. As Jessie heads to her vantage point, a clearly excited Grant starts the engines.
The car is armed. This is it, you guys.
And Tori gives the countdown.
Here we go. In 3, 2, 1, hit it.
Grant's actuators put the pedal to the metal, and the mustard marvel takes off. As the car gains speed, Grant expertly steers straight down a guideline until
50 miles an hour.
with a hop, a flip, and a thump, the car crosses the pond, but not quite as hoped.
That car didn't skip, it flipped! Oh,
Oh my God.
I don't think...
That was insane. Look at what it did, though. It actually made it to the other side of the pond.
That's not how it's supposed to do it.
Wow.
Oh, wow. Oh, my God, we destroyed this car.
Now, we matched pretty much every aspect of the movie. The ramp, the speed, the specifications of the car, and we got a completely different result. What this means is that the movie stunt was faked, that it wasn't a real skip across a lake.
But they're not stopping there. What does it take to get a car to skip across a lake? Using a scale test, they figure out it's better to ditch the ramp.
1. That was cool.
And also boost the speed.
28. Oh, holy crap.
At the equivalent of 100 miles per hour, the model car skips and would skip again, except it runs out of trough.
But this is just small scale. I mean, this is a toy we're using right now. When we go to full scale, using a car weighing 2,600 pounds, who knows what's gonna happen?
Time to try the pond skip again. This time they'll get rid of the ramp. And they'll have a new car that will be souped up with nitrous, doubling its horsepower.
Now this little wire right here, this is the Go Baby Go wire.
Have this huge rush of power coursing through the veins of this little car, and it's just going, and it's gonna make it exponentially harder to control. So I could potentially have a rocket on my hands.
Here's how it could work in theory. If the car is traveling fast enough and keeps its nose up each time it hits the surface, forcing water downward, the opposing force of the water pushing up on the car should propel it forward.
My heart rate just went up when you started that engine. I'm ready to do this.
Me too. And with only one car, there's just one shot to make it across the lake.
And we're gonna put it in drive.
The vehicle is in drive.
Yay!
Okay.
Dude, has it hit you yet? We are about to skip a car across a pond. This is crazy, man.
This is totally, totally crazy.
We're like Thelma and Louise.
We are?
I just say dumb things when I'm excited.
Okay.
It's make or break time.
In 3, 2, 1, hit it.
Okay, brakes off.
But probably brake.
And here we go.
Grant builds up the speed, then presses the Go Baby Go button.
Here goes the nitrous.
The car surges forward, and when it reaches the lake, something beautiful happens.
Dude, we skipped a car across the lake.
That was a full-scale car skip. The high-speed shows the supercar skipped twice over the 100-foot lake and then continued to drive on the far bank until Grant remembered to apply the brakes.
We did it! We skipped! No rockets, no special tires, no ramp, and no underwater platform. And it skipped across the lake.
Just like the small scale said it would.
In fact, it's so easy, I think we really need to stop and say, do not try this at home.
Yes, but let's keep in mind, the movie is still busted.
Of course, going 50 miles an hour with a ramp and you're going for a swim.
Next, the boys are going to try and move fast enough to dodge a bullet.
The theory behind this myth is the idea that there is a theoretical distance at which you could both see a bullet being fired and yet have enough time to get out of the way of the bullet that's been fired at you before it gets to you and hits you.
They want to find out if a sniper is far enough away and you can see him take the shot. Can you react quick enough to save your skin? First, they need an abandoned airfield. Check. Then they need a sniper. Check. Let's check his aim is true.
That's how it's done.
Check.
How do you like them apples?
He'll do. Their aim is to find out how long a bullet is in the air between the barrel and its target.
The purpose of this test is to shoot the rifle at a fixed distance and record how much time it takes for the bullet to hit the target. That's the amount of time that we'll have to dodge a bullet.
They test at 200 yards,
231 milliseconds?
500 yards, and at 1,200 yards, which is almost a mile away.
Beautiful. We got a reading, 1.791 seconds to target.
Well, now we need to know how quickly we can jump out of the way, huh?
Human reaction tests it is. Let's do it.
Back at the shop, the boys are going to need some Matrix-style moves.
This is our human being. His task, to get himself out of the path of a bullet described by the X on his chest and the bullseye behind him. His signal to move that the shot has been fired will be given by this digital camera flash remotely triggered by me from back there.
All right, are you ready, Jamie? Human reaction time speed test at some random point in the very near future. Nice.
Jamie's fast. His reflexes are honed to an almost superhero speed.
Nice work there, cowboy. You want to man the remote flash while I try a couple?
Okay.
Adam's style is best described as different. But to see who was quickest, they need to see it in slow-mo.
Here's mine. So I turned into one of the Three Stooges, and I don't know.
But Heineman's hips don't lie. With all the swagger of a bullfighter.
Check his bad self out. He is a bullet-dodging Hoosier.
Despite Jamie showing an artful economy of motion, it turns out that Jamie and Adam clocked very similar times. Jamie's a touch quicker, though, at 490 milliseconds. Now they'll use data from the sniper test to determine the range at which you could potentially avoid a bullet.
Now, if I draw a line from 490 milliseconds out to our plot and check out the corresponding distance, it's 400 yards. That is the theoretical distance at which you could possibly dodge a bullet, but only if you could see the muzzle flash from that distance. That's what we're about to find out.
The question now is, how far away can you still spot the muzzle flash? Back on the range, the boys ask the sniper to fire blanks, while they try to spot the flash. First up, from 100 yards.
I saw it.
I saw it.
At 100 yards, the flash is as clear as a bell. And that's also true of 150 yards.
Saw it.
I saw it.
But 200 yards, or 600 feet, is a different story.
Okay, Dave. 200 yards, fire at will.
I didn't see that. Let's have him do that again.
Dave, let's have one more go.
Did you see it?
I'd say that's at the borderline.
Well, if you got the eagle eyes, let's push it another 25 yards.
And at 225 yards, or 675 feet, even eagle-eyed Jamie fails to focus on the flash.
Nope, I don't have it.
200 yards is our threshold.
Yeah.
With our blank rounds matched to a sniper's round, our ability to see the rifle firing is 200 yards. If you look at that on our graph, yeah, it's not quite enough time for us to get out of the way.
Remember, based on the bullet travel time, coupled with the human reaction time, 400 yards was the minimum distance needed to dodge. But at just half that distance, you can't even see the muzzle flash.
I don't have it.
So the myth is busted. But we all want to see them dodge a bullet, right? So what about a larger muzzle flash? That would help them see the gunfire from further away.
In Hollywood, for instance, a blank for that rifle includes a lot more fire coming out of the tip because that's more visual for the movies. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to start from this distance with a full Hollywood flaming blank and see how far we can see that rifle firing with one of these.
The Hollywood round turns out to be visible even at 1,200 yards.
I saw that.
Totally saw it. Wait. And I heard it. That's plenty of time to get out of the way.
So in theory, they should be able to dodge a sniper's bullet, so long as he's using a Hollywood-style muzzle flash.
Now, since we can't use real bullets for this test, but we've gathered the information that tells us the exact bullet flight time for any distance we choose,
Perfect.
we are going to imitate the bullet's flight electronically. Here's how.
When this gun fires a blank, a wire I've mounted on the trigger is going to close a circuit.
Which starts this timer timing. It will count down for the precise length of time the bullet should be flying through the air, and at the instant it is supposed to hit its target, it will tell this paintball gun to fire a round directly into Jamie's chest. Now, will he be able to get out in time?
I think I might.
No, not yet. That's what we're about to find out. The distance I'll be shooting at Jamie from, I love that sentence, is 400 yards.
I'm set and ready.
Okay, fire at will.
Copy that.
You got me.
But Jamie can't dodge the bullet from 400 yards. And neither can Adam.
That was interesting. At 400 yards, we've got 500 milliseconds to react and get out of the way, which ought to be enough time, but there's a difference between the shop test and the real world test. In the shop, we had this super bright flash right in our face. In the real world, we've got a tiny dot 1,200 feet away. It's a lot harder to see. So now, we're gonna move that dot to 500 yards, give Jamie even more time to react, and see if he can deliver the goods.
Never has the need for speed been greater. With 500 yards and 600 milliseconds to react to the Hollywood blank, it's time to go big or go home.
It's time to call into play those cat-like Hoosier reflexes.
Fire well. I dodged it.
At last, at 500 yards or 1,500 feet, the Heinemann sways at speed and the paintball sails clean past.
This test showed that I would have been able to dodge a bullet, but here's the thing. We were using Hollywood blanks, and if we were using real bullets, I wouldn't have been able to see a thing, and I would have been dead.
The verdict is it's busted. There is no way you can dodge a sniper's bullet.